Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. Okay, I just did a holiday read, and it kind of addressed like some issues that, as a collective might be coming through for a lot of us. That there's the new energies that are flowing through the system are completely different. They're in the modalities in which we read cards, the way we interpret energy is going to change as well, because we can't keep doing what we've always done anymore. So the shift is real, it's here. We just have to keep channeling and anchoring in what we can in order to allow this to happen with more grace and ease. And that often comes with swallowing a couple different pills that are not so fantabulous. So that's what myself and my tribe are trying to accomplish on the planet, that the ways in which we've done things, which are clearly crumbling at the moment in every different way, are going to need to shift. The need for those things is not going away. The way in which we handle life's challenges are going to be completely different. The way in which we operate our energy into the world is going to shift entirely. So coming into an adaptable mindset, coming into a mindset of releasing the old, and pretty much everything has to go. And that's people having a difficult time releasing that into the ethos, because it's what we've always known. I mean, for thousands of years, all these different modalities and these existence have been with us. And it's not just religion, it's everything. It's culture, it's how we perform our jobs, it's how we function in the world, it's how we get medicine, it's how we get education, it's how everything is operating on this system, that now we're coming to an understanding that's not going to sustain whatever energy is now on the planet. Okay. The cosmos is here trying to tell us this stuff, and the movement forward is going to be excruciatingly fast. So when we're in this crossroad energy, when we're in this, okay, what's coming in? What's the truth of our future? Sorry, the sweet little puppy dog is down there doing his little nesting thing on the bed that's right next to the stand, so I apologize. So how do we move forward with that? I've done as many channeling videos as I can. When I wake up in the mornings, I get what some people call them downloads, whatever it is, and I try to speak on that every day. And it's not an easy task, and it's not easy information to kind of get through the system. But I've been getting it for a long time, and I'm taking it through a filtration system as best I can, so that way I am not, just willy-nillying it and trying to how do you say, put it out without having several different guides and spirit masters come in and say, yep, that's correct, nope, we gotta vet that, might want to put that a different way, whatever it is, right? So, and that, there's a lot of channeling channels out there, and that's nice to see. That's highly encouraging to me for people who can, just be out there with it. And I say, I have full access to this particular energy, and I'm going to give it to you and access that for the collective. So that is what I am attempting to do, but I'm just getting slightly different downloads. And again, multi-dimensional fractal ecosystem. We're not meant to be in the same space at the same time, and whatever else it is. I am just following the guides and the spirit and and I'm very different. I'm very different from your typical tarot reader. I don't typically like using tarot because I used to love it, and Spirit's telling me, but the energy's changing, the energy's shifting, the patriarchy narrative is is leaving. So those reeds are anchoring in an energy that's not going to be viable anymore. And so in order to kind of refrain from leading people in a direction that isn't even there anymore, it feels like energetically going off that narrative, that structural pattern of how the Rider Waite, I think, was set up, is leading people down to a dead end. It's an old, archaic mentality is what they're telling me. And so the energy that's coming on the planet is brand new. So we need to use heavy discernment when we're working with the energies, because when the energy shifts, the narrative has to shift. If the narrative does not shift, and we keep reading the same energetic patterns that are attached to those narratives, it's going to create a lot more suffering on the planet. And there's already a lot. So we just need working through the whatchamacallits. Okay, so the orphan come out a little off balance. Okay, so, and that, that Pluto in Aquarius is very much, Pluto's finally back in bounds now as November 29th, but it's, I believe it's still, might be still retrograde, but it's in Aquarius nonetheless. And that is that, Uranus energy is the rebel spirit that oftentimes gets, outcast or whatever, so that people can find their own ways through this new energy without having to take the old narratives with you. Because there's a huge energetic shift where families are kind of dissipating. People are trying to get away from the archaic narratives naturally by just, I can't talk to you anymore because of this, that, and the other thing. And again, it's not always to do with religion, but that subconscious undercurrent from religion is still, flowing through our energetic patterns. And so releasing that is a really good tactic, especially in this crossroads, subconscious, underground period of time that we are naturally given. So Spirit just is really coming through saying, hey, okay, so we know the patterns this produces on the planet. We have to let that go. We have to let that energetic pattern be released and allow the new to come in. And that can be stressful. I've had to, I've had to go through it. So I grew up Catholic, so that's a huge, huge thing for me to have to sift through. And it took me a long time, but with this energy that's now coming in, it's not going to take people a huge chunk of time. And it's not going to be so guilt-ridden as it was before. It's not going to be so slow. And I'm hearing that, like, a lot of the, going to the opposite side of the narrative is not going to be so all pervasive either. Like, it's not going to be, well, I'm going to be an atheist or a Satanist. That narrative is Satanism is the same narrative as biblical, because that's the narrative. There's no Satan outside of the biblical text, or jinn, or whatever energy that is. It's all contained within those narratives. So if we drop the narrative, we can create something new, or allow something to come in and inspire us to co-create something new. And then you've got agape for the heart of the spread. So that all loving, all pervasive energy is coming in for the new year here. And then February is going to be huge too, because the Neptune and Saturn are going to go into the same degree of Aries, 0 degree of Aries, and then 3 days before that, February 17th, is when the Chinese year of the snake ends, and then the year of the horse begins. So that's going to be huge, but you've got time to digest. You've got time to release. You've got time to grieve, meditate, clean some things up that you need to clean up for yourself, for your home life, for your families, for your whatever it is, your place in the world, right? So you've got the the Bardo on its side. Time to go in. Maybe it feels like you're halfway through. Ooh, okay, hang on just a second. Then you've got the Unseen on its side. So we're halfway, we're kind of there in the modality of gestation. And then you've got the Vision in the reverse. Then you've got the Venom in the upright. Okay. So let's get everything out here before I start speaking on it. You've got the one on the side, and then on the outside is the Poet in reverse. Okay. So as long as you keep that agape, so these two are on the outside. You got the Venom and the Poet in reverse. Surrounded by the Vision in reverse, the Unseen sideways, the One sideways, and the Bardo sideways. The Storm is on the reverse over here, and the Ocean's on the reverse on the other side. So when we have, okay, so when we have a storm that comes in, the anchoring of the self, the alignment of the self, the trusting the self, trusting the future self to get us through to a safe place of being. Because on the outside of this little cell is the Poet in reverse and the Venom. And what that tells me is whatever was written in the past is now the subconscious undercurrent as being, and its mirror reflection is Venom. So, and I've done videos on this about how when we are basing our modality of living on rich, very rich white men's words that were given all the privilege in the world, and now we're basing our reality on what they perceived to be reality, not what actually was, but one man and his instructions. And that goes for everything. It's not just religion. It goes into medical, it goes into psychology, it goes into education, it goes into politics. White men wrote the Constitution, but they also owned slaves. All these different narratives are coming up on their head, and we're beginning to realize just how poisonous they were. Okay? But you've got the agape, the center of this. Okay? So it's not a matter of you losing yourself. It's you're beginning to create not necessarily, maybe it's a fortress or a protection around yourself that says, okay, I can see this clearly now. I realize that everybody is the one for themselves. So like, you know how Neo was the one, and he's just instructing us all that we have access to those things. That agape love, that I'm not going to dedicate and devote myself to just a few people that live under the same roof as myself. I'm going to dedicate myself to feeling love and compassion for all existence, and not just other human beings, other creatures, nature, the earth itself, the sun, which also gives life to everybody, the modalities which actually sustain human life. I'm going to start being more grateful for those things. I'm going to start opening my heart up in those spaces, because nature is the safest space to open your heart. That's where everybody tells you to go when you're having a difficult time, whether it be psychology or, you know, a spiritual guru. They're going to tell you to get out in nature, because that's where the agape is allowed to flourish. That's where the agape is allowed to open. That's the safest space, is in those environments where it might be harsh and cruel for some parts of the year, but it's all for a reason. Those cycles happen for a reason. It serves the whole. So coming into, and I did a video that like Truth is nature. Truth never needs your participation. It just is true. You don't need to force a narrative. You don't need to force a construct, a practice. It just is. Truth just is. It does not require you to participate in its existence, because it just is. That's how you know it's truth. And that, you know, that Neptune moving out of the Piscean energy that's going to start lifting that veil, which came up in the last read. This is the unseen becoming seen, and the vision you were probably given was an upside down one. You were told you were to trust completely in yourself, trust completely in your job, trust completely in your doctor, trust completely in your pastor, priest, whatever it might be. Trust completely on the outside of yourself, when in actuality, it was all right here. You have that intuitive nature about you. And maybe you're starting to see that you're not an orphan. Everybody kind of is in that orphan stage right now with I feel isolated from the outside world. That's happening for a reason. It's not your fault. It's not, you know, don't need to psychologize it, because it's happening so that we can come back to this energy, to the agape within us, because it's always been there. It's an inner flame, keepers of the flame. That's what the whole channel is based off of that. So when we can realize that we don't need to be in the storm, we just need to find the center of ourself and come to the realization we are a storm. We create and co-create. You know, everybody likes to say, well, that bad thing that happened to you, you did that. It was a co-creation. It was the co-creation of the people, places, molecules, beings, plants, whatever, in my environment. It was a co-creation. It wasn't just a you did this to yourself, you're all by yourself on your island, whatever. This is, because this very much feels like a fortress, like a, you know, an isolation period of gestation, I want to call it. Gestation. At the bottom is the vow, the sword, and the apocalypse. Well, there it is. The great unveiling of coming to a different existence, where it might have sounded romantic and beautiful on paper, but it produced something else when it came into fruition. It produced something else entirely. And what I really appreciate about this energy is you're not beating yourself up. You're not, you know, trying to overanalyze it, because you've got the one here in the energy. You realize that everything's connected to everything else. You're willing to go into the underworld. You're willing to have, see how this vision, even though like it's upside down, there's that little spark of light in the center. You're like, I don't care what position, I'm keeping my inner light. And that's kind of reflected through the cards here. I'm keeping my inner light. Even when I'm in the mouth of the beast, I'm keeping my light. And there's a great medicine that comes from, you know, venom is always the antidote. So it's in dosage. It's all a matter of dosage. You know, there's that poor lady that, like, oh, she wanted to win her husband at Xbox or something, and then she drank gallons and gallons of water and then passed away because of it. So remembering, it's all about, you know, the exposure to it. Alright, and now they want me to draw from the Spiritual Awakening, 52 Universal Law Oracle cards book. Okay, so we're going to draw from there, and I'm going to read This is just short and sweet. What's coming after the new year, or at the start of the new year? They're like tickling my ears. So there's something you're going to overhear. You're not going to necessarily be directly involved in the conversation, but you're going to overhear something within like the next 3 weeks. That's going to help you remember who you are. Help you remember how sacred and amazing you are as a human being. Just you existing without having to perform, without having to perform, without having a mask. You're going to remember your own sacred divinity without having to have any outside narrative stuck to you. So that light is bubbling up from the inside of you, and you can trust that because it's coming from the inside. It's not, society telling you have to go out and do this, you have to go out and be this, you have to go out and blah, 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 blah. Or, society may be presenting you with a modality of existence that's an illusion, that's not even real. So just be mindful of what you're consuming, but then also be mindful of, like, maybe there's something that comes through. Like, I just watched a video on how all those trad wives are, number one, they're Mormon, and number two, they're basically CEOs of these giant corporations that are getting mega uber ultra deals with all these big brand name companies. So they're making all this money when your average trad wife isn't doing that. They are literally at home with the children all day long, doing the cooking, the cleaning, the teaching, the leading, the instruction, whatever else by themselves with little to no income, and they don't have an outside source for a job. So maybe it's something in the similar vein to, like, oh, I thought this modality of moving forward was good. I thought that, like, I thought this opportunity was going to be spectacular, and it turns out to be something that's just totally bonkers and is not sustainable. So just be mindful of that. Listen to what's happening around you. And it could be like you're at the coffee shop and they got the TV on and something happens in the background. Or you're at the line at the grocery store and somebody in front of you or behind you is on the phone talking with their girlfriend or buddy or whatever it is about something that's going down in society. I don't know. There's something that's going to. So just present all the time. Okay, the law of love. Your heart knows no bounds. What a perfect card. So the agape thing, trusting that inner knowing, that inner light, that inner future self that's going to put you on the highest timeline. It's on page 47 for you numerology lovers. Okay, so universal law of love. Your heart knows no bounds. Love informs creation, and the law is the internal mechanism of life. Let's try to get it. There we go, a little bit. Got it? Okay, there we go. So let me read that over. Life informs creation, and the law is the internal mechanism of life that guides all things to order, harmony, and oneness. If the creative process is inverted to create chaos, harm, or disorder, this law will bound its effects. Love is the expression and expansion of spirit, your higher self, through the desire in terms of creation, through you, as you. All of life is designed to awaken the self to greater love. So to awaken the oracle within, love is the transcending of spirit through your desires, expressing itself as the flow of your heart. By drawing this card, your soul is ready for you to become more expressed in love. The universe is depending on your relationship or bringing you to a relationship right now. Your work is to let go of suppression and repression and embrace pleasure, with which includes tearing down the walls around your heart. Remember, love points the way and universal law makes it possible. Your journal action. Love bomb everyone you come in contact with today. Find one thing that inspires you about them. Tell them their greatest qualities. Write a love letter to a family member. Shout out your friends on social media and tell them how great they are. What a great Christmas gift. And again, like, the outside world you're beginning to see as like this mechanism that's not working for humanity, and you're like, how am I going to be an agent of change in this? And that's how you be an agent of change. Just spread the love, the light, the glory, the gorgeousness. And again, you don't have to tie it to religion if you don't want to. I mean, I say happy holidays because I mean it. I want everybody to have a happy holiday. I want everybody to be filled with love and joy all year round, not just right now. But right now, in the deep, dark depths that we are in, it helps to be reminded. It helps to tap on that for everybody around you. So yeah, this is not like it's not a warning. It's an acknowledgement that, like, you are exactly where you're meant to be, and you're keeping the false poets, prophets, whatever it is, outside, as well as the venom, because these are on the outside of your cells. So you're saying, okay, I acknowledge that exists, but I'm going to alchemize and turn it into something that is greater than me. Because we're all, and that's, you see the oneness card and how, like, those lines are coming in but not quite there. This is them meeting you all the way in. So you're dancing on this web of life here. Freaking cool. All right, so go forth and journal out whatever inspires you to love, and then bring that mantra kind of in like and if you don't like meditating, maybe just once a day or twice when you wake up in the morning and when you go to bed at night, have that mantra that your own heart came up with, that your joy is activated by, and let that lead you through the day and through the night. Because there's something with the ocean here and the unseen and the vision in reverse that maybe the universe is going to come through at dream time. So just be mindful of that. Keep a pen and paper at your bedside. And maybe do the journaling, like, however many things you feel grateful for at the end of the day. You can start with 5, you can start with 50, it doesn't matter. Okay. Alright, we got time. So, the Soul Mirror Oracle, they're telling me, it's probably got something in it. Because sometimes when you're in a state of like, right now, it's too much to ask for, to jump into that energy. So I just did a reading for somebody or a collective that's going to receive a lot of love tomorrow, and they're unsure of how to proceed with that energy. So maybe a little insight as to, oh my goodness, okay. Destiny, past or future focused versus present. Okay, yep, be present. Like remember that grocery aisle thing, be constantly in your body. And being present doesn't mean shoving away pain, doesn't mean denying you're angry, doesn't mean any of that. I just did a video about how to alchemize those emotions and breathe into them and give them a safe exit, whether it be joy and bliss or anger and frustration. Either way, you don't want to death grip them. You want to enjoy them if it's joy, but then release through grace and gratitude and pass that on to the system and then it's just like a wave coming in, and then you allow it to go back out again, and all that other good stuff. But there's portals for the anger and frustration that need to be activated. So 2 videos before this. But this is giving, see that energy pulse that's running through her heart chakra. Just being constantly aware of the love and support around you. There's a meditation you can do when you feel like that this is not my read, lady. Okay, so let's get it. Let's bring it in. Okay, come on. So the chair, the bed, the couch, the ground in which you are sitting on, somebody had to construct, even if it was Mother herself. Well, Mother herself made all of it. Everything that's around us, Mother made. But someone, even if it wasn't Mother, the fabric on my chair, the chair underneath me, somebody had to work to make this. Somebody had to work to make this. Somebody had to work to make all this. Okay. Mother had to work her tail off with the ocean to make this. Okay. Everything, okay, that's love and support. Someone had to work and love something in order for all this to come into fruition. There was somebody that had to cut down the tree, somebody who had to haul it to the mill, somebody who had to shave it down, somebody who had to slice it into pieces, somebody who had to bring it to the store, somebody who sold it, somebody who hauled it home, somebody who sanded it and stained it, and somebody who installed it. All that love in just one object. Start seeing that and allowing that to come in, allowing that support to fill you, because all these things didn't come into existence by just magic. People put their hard work into it. People put their heart and soul into it. And yes, it might have been for a paycheck, but at the same time, that human supportive energy still is literally holding you up. And if you don't want to use the mechanistic area, go sit on the earth. And feel that support from Mother. Feel that guidance and that truth that rises up and saying you are more loved and supported than you are allowing yourself to realize, right? Allow that love and support to flow in, because it's always with you. It's always around you. Always supporting you. Always. Okay. Every energy is always flowing through your heart. That 6 feet circle of energy around you. That's your precious energy. And it's sacred. And you know it. You know it. Alright. Until next time, Sacred Soul. Keep your flame